Hey everybody, welcome to the Ballet Rising videocast. Today I am really excited to have two people on the videocast today from a project called MindLeaps. I think everybody is going to absolutely love this. MindLeaps uses dance to develop the cognitive skills and social emotional learning of at-risk youth to ensure that they can succeed in formal education. The core of MindLeap's program is a strategically designed, highly targeted dance curriculum created by professional dancers, psychologists, and educators with expertise in working with vulnerable youth populations. I think it's an incredibly wonderful program, and I would encourage everybody to look into it a little bit further. I think it's just amazing what they're doing, and I think we can all come together to help support it and make sure that they really reach their goals and just reach as many at-risk youth around the world as possible. So with us today, I have the founder and executive director, Rebecca Davis, and the program manager, Bashir Karenzi. Let's welcome them to the videocast. Okay, everybody, we're here with Bashir and Rebecca from MindLeaps. Thank you guys both so much for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, great. I wanted to start off really quickly with you guys' mission statement because I just think it's the coolest thing I've read in a long time. So I'm just gonna don't mind me for a second. I want to read it off really quick. Our mission, MindLeaps creates educational paths for the most vulnerable children in the world through a creative arts program that is built on data-driven metrics. I think that's amazing. I think that's such a great idea. And then of course, yeah, there's so much more to it than that, but I just love it. So I'm really happy to have you guys here, really happy to talk to you. And I'd really love to see what we can do, Ballet Rising and MindLeaps, in the future to see where we can collaborate and work together. So yeah, let's just start off a little bit with Bashir. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you came into MindLeaps, or how you joined, and yeah, how everything got started for you.
Thank you. My name is Bashir Karenzi, Rwandan, and I joined MindLeaps in 2013, first as a volunteer, and then after a while, I was hired as dance trainer at the center, at the MindLeaps Center here in Kigali, Rwanda. And then I was deployed to the refugee camps with a partnership with the UNHCR to implement our program in the refugee camps. And then from there, that's when recently I was promoted as a program director, where I'm overseeing the program here in Rwanda and Mauritania in West Africa.
Wow, great. that's quite a lot. Nice. Great. And Rebecca.
Thank you, Casey. We're so happy to be here. Thank you for giving us the platform. So MindLeaps is the second iteration of a dance company that I originally started in Philadelphia, which was focused on social justice issues. And one of the ballets that we created there was looking at the theme or the situation in Darfur, when that genocide was starting between, well, then it was all Sudan, now it's Sudan and South Sudan. Mm-hmm. And a bunch of us, me as the choreographer and a bunch of the dancers, ended up getting a lot of questions from the audiences about, we can't believe this is happening. What do we do now? What happens in a post-conflict environment? And we kind of paused for a moment, realizing that we don't have answers to these questions, but yet here we are focused on social justice. But then when people want to take action, we don't know how to bring people together to take action. Yeah. And that started a bunch of us traveling to post-conflict countries around the world, including Rwanda, which is where we met Bashir. And slowly over time, we evolved from the mission of a contemporary dance company focused on social justice to the mission statement you read, really looking at how do we create educational paths for communities and for youth who've been stricken by these hardships and these conflicts.
Wow. Okay, great. And so how did you get involved in dance, or yeah, what was your background as far as getting a passion for dance?
Bashir also has a good dance story. Casey, we recently had a board meeting for MindLeaps, and we counted up all of the staff members out of the 105 of us who are former dancers or dance teachers now, and it's 88. So basically everybody who connects to MindLeaps is somehow a dance person. For me, I grew up in Canada, typical kind of ballet kid, and then really narrowed my focus on dance to choreography. I had the chance to go to Russia on a Fulbright scholarship to study classical choreography in St. Petersburg and look at the structure and the systems that you use to create narrative works. And then that led eventually to the creation of the dance company, which was the predecessor of MindLeaps.
Okay, wow. All right.
Bashir also found MindLeaps through dance.
Well, for me, dance, like in Africa, we grew up like dancing, in the neighborhood, running around. So the Afrobeat and other traditional dance. But I was introduced to really dance when I was in the university in my second year. That's when I joined the African Contemporary Dance Company in the university. And I was introduced to ballet when I joined ballet, the basic techniques when I joined MindLeaps.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I love all these, I've been doing a lot of interviews with people that have various projects that are all involving dance in one way or another. And it's just amazing how we always think of dance as just sort of dance for the sake of itself, but the incredible things that people are doing with dance that involve and affect various other aspects of people's lives, some of them in a very big way, like MindLeaps. It's so exciting to see people really taking these dance and moving it into new areas that really impact. I love it. I talked to somebody recently who was doing some research with dance and Alzheimer's. And, it's just like, it's incredible, dance and education and dance in affecting change in society is really cool. So, I mean, again, I love what you guys are doing. So let's go into detail a little bit more about MindLeaps. So, I mean, we kind of got a little bit of a backstory about how it started, but what's the real driving force behind this? Where could you start with as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, I mean, the structure of MindLeaps, once you get down to it, is very specific, very codified. And then I think Bashir will speak a little bit to how he sees it working in the field. But essentially, it's a codified curriculum. It's a mixture of different dance styles around the world. And the curriculum looks at how does a particular movement pattern then have a kinesthetic objective and then a mental objective tied to it. So each movement you do in the MindLeaps class is connected to one of 7 skills, ranging from memorization to grit, to teamwork, to self-expression. And when we repeat these patterns in the same way over time, we can actually track how those social emotional learning skills change. So this gets to like the data-driven part. And it was not quick to develop or test this system, but what's so cool about it, and what you allude to in talking about like how great it is, what dance can do around the world, is that actually it's pretty universal. If you do it in West Africa, if you do it in a conflict-ridden community in the United States, you can still be a predictor of how those same skills change over time. So then the data then becomes really powerful, because then you can actually see like at what point does a child get to a point in self-esteem and teamwork and discipline that we think that the child is stable enough to move to the next level in life, whether or not that's formal education, taking on a job, sometimes being a caretaker for the whole family at home. But we can actually correlate that back to numbers and pictures of diagrams, which is kind of like the mystery of the arts, right? Is how does that then turn into something concrete? And the MindLeaps system really, because it's so specific, allows us to do that for these particular skills for particular time periods.
Wow, that's really fascinating, because I think, we all understand that the arts have so many benefits. We've been working on a document lately, for quite a while now, that combines a tremendous number of studies that have all been done about the benefits of dance for the individual. The cognitive benefits, the physical benefits, the societal benefits. I mean, there's just economic benefits, and it's just amazing. But one of the hardest things that I think a lot of people who don't understand or don't really appreciate much about dance and theater and art is that the benefits aren't so tangible. You know, it's very difficult to say this is what you, well, if you do this, if you fund art and support art, this is what you get. You know, for us, there are some incredible benefits, but it's hard for them to, you know, put it on a paper and say, okay, this is it. And so I think, yeah, for what you guys are doing, that just really seems to give people a real solid sort of this is where we're going with it. I mean, I think it's really cool. And Bashir, you work more in the field, right?
Yes.
So,
Uh,
what is
yeah,
that?
on the field. Yeah, on the field, it's interesting to see these changes in these youth, because in the field we work with youth that are not interested in school, like really hopeless. They don't have a hope, and then also like trying to survive for just one day, but interested in dance. Then how do we really help them by dance, but also tracking them on the daily basis to the point where they are like, oh, I'm ready to go to school and also succeed. So I think in the few minutes, there is one kid called Eric. Eric just came back from school. They just finished the second term.
Yeah.
So I think back then when I met Eric, he was in primary. He was in the local NGO that we are partnering with. So he wasn't in school, but he enjoyed like really jumping with a lot of energy. And but then when you ask like then what next? Then it's like, oh, I don't know what is next. But after a while dancing, he was really motivated and interested in school. And so you can imagine in 2013 in first grade, and now he's in the 10th grade. So that's how with these data and improvement, these skills, we are sure, regardless of the situation at home, we are sure that the kid is going to go and thrive in school and be committed to long-term goals in life.
Oh, great. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, I think, Bashir, thanks for sharing Eric's story. It's just what always strikes me so much about the art form is how it taps into like this curiosity in our minds, right? So, I mean, when you look at professional dancers, ballet dancers, you know, okay, then they're curious, how far can their body go? How much can our physical limits allow us to do? For how long? For how many hours? Under what conditions? But the physical side is the same mental game, right? So then like these kids, like these kids that we work with at MindLeaps, realize that, hey, if I can become better at like this particular type of movement or working with kids on this choreography, I guess I can do other things too. And that same mindset like translates into an environment that's bigger than the studio or the dance space. It's so transferable, those skills. And I think that that's like the power of the art form that sometimes we overlook.
Yeah. Yeah, I think well, particularly in the ballet world, we're so focused on ballet just for the sake of ballet, you know, of course. I mean, when you're training at a high level, we're just like, okay, let's make the perfect tendu. But I mean, you know, I teach a lot of kids around the world, and what I try to focus on, because I realize most of them are never, or don't have any intention of ever becoming a professional dancer, but they like to study ballet. And so I think it's a great thing to really focus heavily on not just how you can make the perfect tendu, but what lessons can you learn from this, you know, whether it's, you know, just, you know, social skills in the studio, you know, figuring out, how do you say that, like abstract ideas, you know, learning how to problem solve and things like that. Learning just discipline things like showing up on time. And so those are really the things that I like to focus on. And okay, if a few of them really have a lot of talent, then okay, let's really train them to become dancers. But you know, this is just what we've been talking about all along. There's so many benefits to dance besides just learning how to dance. It's great to see you guys really pushing that 10 steps further than where I'm taking it. So yeah. And you guys are working in a wide variety of areas now, right? Across Africa. How many countries are you operating in right now?
So we're in 6 countries right now, 5 of which are in Africa, and then we have a program in North Macedonia and Skopje right now.
That's right.
So Bashir is managing Rwanda, which is our largest program, and Mauritania in West Africa. Then we're also in Uganda, Kenya, Guinea, and North Macedonia. Yeah.
Great. Oh, nice. And do you guys have intentions to expand into new places in the near future, or what's the future like there?
Oh, the answer was so much easier before COVID.
Wow. A lot of things were easy.
Yeah, I mean, certainly one of the things that we've discovered at MindLeaps, which is the same thing that makes this conversation so wonderful, is how global and how universal this is that we're working with. So certainly we're looking to scale, but in the short term, I think what we recognized with COVID and like the breadth and depth of the needs of the youth that we're working with is that we need to build out or continue to build out kind of this system of holistic support around the youth that we're serving. The needs were so exasperated with the pandemic that we recognize that, you know, first and foremost, we have an allegiance to these kids. And then to the extent that we build capacity beyond that, then, you know, we hope to be around for a long time to keep growing.
No, I hope so too. I mean, obviously, when you're doing such a great thing for youth and being also ambassadors for the art form or for dance, I think it's just it's a win-win for everybody. So yeah. And what about what are your plans for the future besides expansion? Just like, do you have more projects, more syllabuses you're working on, or what else do you have in the pipeline?
Yep, maybe Bashir will speak to the different curricula. And hey, Casey, you might be excited to know we're rolling out a ballet curriculum.
Okay.
I'll just kind of comment on one part and then toss it back to Bashir. I think one thing that you've mentioned that we're really looking to broaden within the MindLeaps services or involvement is the area of research. We have a wonderful woman named Dr. Janelle Junkin, who was instrumental in helping us build the curricula, and now is heading up it's an informal research group, people who are attached to MindLeaps or have crossed our path, who are interested in trying to codify this body of work, and just an unlimited number of related research questions that come up. So we just think, I mean, for us, data has been a guiding force. And to the extent that we can deepen and broaden research around dance, I think it helps all of us do what we do better. Yeah.
Great. And Bashir, you were going to expand.
Yes, I think for us on the field is we keep on tracking the long-term impact on these youth, because we've been with them more than 6 years, but we've had the graduate, but we expect in 2 years to have like a lot of graduates. And also we have a lot of young trainers. I think, as Rebecca mentioned, is as we roll out the ballet curriculum, I think not only to have youth with these skills, but I think we are going and identifying also like kids who are really talented and want to really dance, and then we allow the community to do their performing groups in the program. So that's how it is.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother aspect of it, is putting on performances, because it gives people such a great feeling of satisfaction, you know, when you have that sort of thing that you've been working on for a long time and you finally reach that goal and that end point. It fills people. I remember as a youth, that was what really pushed me forward. I was a very shy, introverted kid, and I had a lot of social issues. And the reason one of the reasons I got into ballet was my mom put me in there, because she was like, you know, my teachers were worried about me. You know, they were like, he's not socializing, he's failing all of his classes, he's not doing any work. You know, they were worried that I was just going to be a mute little kid that couldn't do much. And so ballet really did that for me. Going into that studio and finding a group of kids that I could identify with, but also, problem solving and learning combinations and things like that. It exercised my brain in a different way that did end up helping me in school. And it wasn't purposeful, the way you guys are doing it, but it sort of had a similar effect. And so for me, when I hear about these things, I just think it's so important that people understand that dance is a way to really bring things out in people and kids, that sense of gratification of, for me, it was setting goals. The goal of, okay, I'm going to go, I'm going to rehearse, I'm going to work, and every day I'm going to work a little bit harder. And finally attaining that goal was something that just really went, wow. And from there on, I said, I'm going to set more goals and I'm going to reach those. And you just get addicted to that sense of satisfaction with yourself, the sense of accomplishment. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, you'll have to visit one of the MindLeaps programs and tell our kids your story, Casey. I mean, that's exactly the power and the trajectory that makes these lives change.
Oh yeah, I would love to. It would be such an honor to go. I mean, whenever I travel to teach, sometimes in India, I took the opportunity to go to a couple of schools and talk to some kids about dance and myself and my career. And we talked about setting goals and all of that stuff. And it's just fun to talk to people about that, and I feel like, I reached a high degree of success in my career as well. So I think for me, it's nice to show people that listen, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what your background is. If you want something, you can go for it. Start with just setting small goals and then build up from there. And if you stick with it, the chances are pretty good that you'll find it. I just spoke yesterday with a good friend of mine, Ahmad Judah, who's from Dance or Die. He was a Syrian refugee, and he's now a world-renowned dancer. And we were basically saying the same thing. What kept him alive in Syria during the war was dance and just believing in himself and having a clear vision of what he wanted to do. And dance really helped him out of that situation. Far more terrible situation than what I was in. So, but these are reoccurring themes for me. A lot of the people that I talk to really feel the same way, that dance in a way gave them opportunities and it gave them a structure in life. And obviously what you guys are doing is, as we said, taking it a couple of steps beyond that. So yeah, just great stuff here.
Which you say kind of indirectly about access is like, I think something again that makes the work so feasible around the world is that, like, for you, right, the entry point to education was also dance, right? You felt like this is a place where you're welcome. You don't have to talk, you can talk, there's none of these like barriers and expectations. And that's the same starting premise of all of these MindLeaps kids, is that like the story of Eric, right? Like, you don't feel like you have a place at school. Either you're in a community and you're a girl and you're told that doesn't even exist for you, or because there's nobody around you who ever's gone to school, or just the depth of poverty or the refugee setting doesn't put that in your lexicon of thought. But there's no one to tell you or suggest to you that you can't start dancing, right? Like, there's the belief that I have access to that, not by being given that privilege by somebody else or some other institution, but by virtue of being a human being. Yeah. And that's what kind of allows us, like, I haven't been to India, but in India or Syria or the US or any of these countries to start at that equal playing field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dance is something that we all have. We can all do it, to one degree or another. When we go to school, we learn the technique of dancing and we learn different styles of dancing, but dance is in all of us. It's something that's deep inside of our DNA, and it's great to see that we can use it in such positive ways, both for the purpose of dance, but also for many other purposes. So yeah, I would love the opportunity to come and visit some of you, work with you guys and see what we can do, because I think it would be a lot of fun and do a lot of stuff. Yeah, I was checking out your advisory board as well, and you got a lot of really, really fantastic people on this company. I mean, I saw that you have Misty Copeland as an advisor. I mean, what a star! What an inspiration!
You know, a lot of how you talk about ballet is the same as how Misty talks about it. As I'm sure you know that, you know, she was also really shy as a young woman growing up. And it was within ballet and that vocabulary that she found her voice, which is now a global voice. She's been with us twice in Rwanda. I mean, Bashir, you can share one of the stories of Misty's time in Rwanda. We have so many so many wonderful memories of her there.
I think one story that we will never forget, especially here in Rwanda, is that before we used to have only boys program. So she's the one who inaugurated the girls dance program here.
Great.
So and also having, you know, Misty like doing a home visit, coming. Rwanda is hilly, so you go up, like really like walk with the students, and then we go down and talk to them. So grounded, so kind. So like everyone is learning from her. So we were fortunate to have her here.
Yeah, I can imagine. She's a real inspiration. I mean, she's a great dancer, but you can tell that she's got a huge heart, and she's got a real passion for these, for helping other people, and just, you know, spreading the art form, spreading, you know, that's what I talk about with Ballet Rising all the time. You know, of course, it's a project based on ballet because I was a ballet dancer, and I think ballet is a great introduction to just self-expression. Ultimately, it's all about dance. It's all about freedom of expression. And yeah, people like Misty Copeland are great ambassadors, great people at that. Yeah, guys are doing a phenomenal job. Do you guys have anything else you'd love to just tell the world about yourselves, about just anything you're thinking about MindLeaps, just anything off the top of your head?
Okay, I'll go first. Casey, for some of your audience, especially dancers, maybe belly dancers, one of the things that we're trying to share more widely is that MindLeaps is running a training program annually now, every June, for dancers who don't necessarily live in Africa or live in the Balkans, but are interested in learning the methodology for the same reasons that we've talked about. It is like, it's very applicable outside of these communities as well. So dancers are welcome to apply. It's usually a 2-week in-person training in New York in June. This year, for the second year in a row, it's virtual, but it's a program that's open for especially dancers or athletes, people with a movement background, to learn the methodology and the data behind it. So happy to take the opportunity to share that with your community. And then I think also, just like as a reminder on an emotional level, that, you know, we've seen so much in the world with COVID, both the breadth of needs, but the injustices and the disparities. We should also take with that, especially as artists, the hope that these problem-solving skills, as you say, the creative solutions can help us find a way forward. That's like holding each other's hands and doesn't need to be competitive or negative, but is actually, like, again, the expression of the power of the human spirit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing we've been talking about on Ballet Rising a lot. We really want to pull the global community together to coordinate and work together. I talk a lot about the fact that we shouldn't ever be feeling like we have to fight over the scraps of the pie, you know, looking for this amount of arts funding. We work together and we bring the community together. We pull the people on the edges of the community into the center. I feel like we can all advocate and we can make the pie much bigger. And that just means a community coming together and speaking with a unified voice. And so that's a really big thing that I really like to talk about. Also a good friend of mine, Mareka Van Vught, I did an interview with her not too long ago. Oops, sorry, I got a little thing coming up in my screen here. Where is that? Yeah, she's a very good friend of mine. She's a cognitive scientist.
Oh, wow.
Scientist here at the University of Groningen in the Netherlands. and she has a blog called Your Brain on Ballet. She does a lot of research on
wow.
the effects of the on your brain by studying dance and ballet and stuff like that. So I'm sure she's going to be really fascinated to learn more about MindLeaps. I'm definitely going to put you guys in touch.
Thank you.
And yeah, Bashir.
For me, I would say it's just for the international trainers for those opportunity, not only in New York, but I think they also get the opportunity to come here on the field and work with the communities here. So the perspective is different. Let's say if it's in Rwanda, so all the youth and the, they have, because of genocide, the country where you can find 70% of youth, kind of only one parent. So I think it's interesting to go down and work with these communities. And we are always welcome everyone who wants to come and learn, and we enjoy through the movement. So
great. Yeah, I'm going to send a lot of people your way. I think there's a lot of people that would really just love the opportunity to go there and meet you guys and work with MindLeaps and just, help other people in any way they can. So, you guys, thank you so much. I'd really love to talk to you guys more in the future. So this was a wonderful introduction to you both personally and also into MindLeaps as well. But I really look forward to having you guys and more people from MindLeaps on to talk about more specific things in the future, and we'll just keep up to date with what you guys are doing and keep pressing forward. And we're going to make this a better world one step at a time.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to many more conversations.
Great. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.